Hi, it's time for a Chime video, and today we have something that's truly special, unique, and important in the world of NuTone chimes. This is a Model L50 that was manufactured in February of 1957, and that makes it what we refer to as an early L model chime. Early L model chimes are the ones they made approximately between the last half of 1956 and the end of 1959, and then the more standardized L model chimes came out around 1960. There really aren't hard and fast dates as to what series of chimes came out when, because not all models were updated all at the same time. It was more of a progressive thing, but this is an early L model chime based on its date and also how it's made. The tip-off of early L model chimes are that the Intercom motor assembly sits on a round metal base instead of a square plastic base. If you're interested in more detailed information about early L model chimes and the kinds of things that go wrong with them and why, and that's probably why changes were made starting in 1960, we have another video about that, and I'll put one of those pop-up things up here, and you can go watch that and learn everything you ever want to know about early L model chimes. So let's get back to this one. This is an L50. I've been a NuTone Service Center for almost 40 years. This is only the second L50 chime I've ever seen, and actually there is no documentation or literature or catalogs or part sheets that exist for this chime that I can find. And I have a pretty complete set of all of those sort of things. This is a rare chime in that they didn't make it for very long, and it also is an important chime because it launched a series of chimes that NuTone made in one form or another all the way up through the early 1980s. An L50 is a recessed chime. This box that you see here, this inserts into the wall cavity, so it sits flush with the outside surface of the sheetrock or plaster, and then there's a grill that goes over it to cover it up and let the sound out. I don't have the grill, of course, because the customer who sent this to me, I told him to hang on to the grill because I don't need it and we don't want anything to happen to it. After he reinstalls it, I think he will send me a picture of it so I can post that on our YouTube community section. An L50 is a recessed 8-note bar chime. It has 3 tone bars, one here, one here, and one here. Now, just as a point of fact, this is an 8-note bar chime. It's not an 8-note Westminster chime. A Westminster chime must have 4 distinctive notes to play the true Westminster tune, where this only has 3. I was schooled on this by a customer probably 30 years ago, and it kind of stuck. So it's an 8-note bar chime. As near as I can tell, and as much as I can figure out, this is the very first 8-note bar chime that NuTone ever made. And it launched a series of chimes that, like I said, went on for many decades afterwards. And this is truly a well-designed and uniquely designed chime. And I'm going to show you about that. But before we do that, I have it hooked up so we can actually ring it and you can hear what it sounds like. This is a 3-door chime. You can connect it up for the front door, which will play either 4 or 8 notes. And there's a little selector switch down here. And then originally it was a single note for the rear door and 2 notes for the side door. We'll talk about the side door thing after we ring it and you'll see why. So we have rear door and we have side door, which you notice was only 1 note. And then we have the front door, which I have set up to ring 8 notes. And that's what it sounds like. Now we'll turn the power off once the motor stops running, like that. So you might have noticed that we had a single note here, but we also only had a single note here. Well, this originally would have been the 2 notes for the side door. This is one of the reasons why it's an early L model chime, and this was a feature that NuTone deleted, started in 1960. You'll notice that these plungers have the brass solenoid tube that extends out on the backside of the coil. This one has this sort of funky Bakelite box assembly, and inside here is essentially a switch assembly. And the plunger, which is different in this assembly than the other two, has a little sort of a pivoting catch on it. And what it's supposed to do is, as it comes forward to hit the first note and the spring pushes it back, it makes a connection through the switch inside the little box, which makes it go again and make the second note. This never works properly. And I have a feeling that the reason it was deleted in 1960 was it was too problematic for NuTone to put into a product, and I think they probably had a lot of complaints about it, and it's like, we're not going to do that. It's a bad idea. It's not a good design. So that was deleted. The other thing that makes this chime unique is its general form factor. So it's all metal construction. You have the resonators here and here. They're metal boxes, and there are openings in them. You can see I can insert the screwdriver into the openings, and the resonators create a louder sound when the tone bars are struck. It works a lot like the opening in the face of a guitar, and when you strum the strings on the guitar, the guitar body and the opening make it louder, and that's what these do. So these are metal, and then we have the 3 tone bars mounted in front of them. This is a tall unit. It's probably every bit of 11 inches tall, which is larger than average, and it was designed only to be recess mounted inside the wall. The other thing that's unique about this unit is it's actually a 2-piece case. You have the outer case with the resonators and the tone bars attached, but then in the center you have the working mechanism of the chime. You have the motor and the solenoid assemblies with the terminal strips for the wire connections down here, and this actually is like a sub-assembly that's held into the case with little knurled nuts. There's supposed to be 4 of them. It only has 2 of the original ones. The other ones we're just going to put standard nuts on because I don't have any of these. So what I want to do real quick is I'm going to disconnect my wiring from it because you've already heard it ring, and I'm going to show you how this comes apart. All right, so with the wires disconnected, I can remove the true little knurled nut assemblies, which are very fancy. This one's a little hard to get your fingers around. It's down in the corner, and if you have big fingers, it makes it kind of tough. There we go. So that one's out. Now, with the knurled nuts removed, we can actually lift this assembly out altogether. And what we have here is a big opening in the box, because there's wires and things on the back side, and you need a little bit of space for that, and also to bring the wiring through to make the connections on the terminal block. This is a fancy design. It allowed someone to mount the tone bars and do all of this, and then these assemblies could be assembled on a separate workbench or assembly line, or however they did it in those days. And then when you're ready, all you got to do is pop it back in place, put your little knurled nuts back on, and you're good to go. And it's a nice design. I think it's very elegant, especially for a door chime, but also it most likely is part of the reason why this model didn't make it into production for more than just a couple of years. I think these were probably available sometime late 1956 through 1957, and maybe partway into 1958. It may have been that it was just too costly to manufacture, or it may also have been that it was too costly to buy because the manufacturing costs were higher with the sub-assembly and the all-metal box and that sort of stuff, and it wasn't a big seller. It was too expensive compared to other chimes, and people didn't want it. One of the things NuTone was always really good about is controlling their manufacturing costs so their products were priced correctly so people would buy them. And if something was too expensive, this whole sub-assembly thing would have been much more expensive to make than if it was all one piece. That probably is the reason why they didn't make it for very long. I mentioned how this design launched a series of chimes that were made for many decades afterwards, and I thought it would be good to sort of show you a more common version or the variation that it ended up being later on. So this is a Model L50, and while it looks very different, it's essentially the same chime. Not exactly the same, but very similar. So the L50 was the reason that this actually exists, and this is the revised version of it. This particular one was made in 1961, so it's only a few years after that. You can see it still falls within the realm of an early L model chime because the motor is sitting on the round base assembly. And as I said, no hard and fast dates on when chimes were updated, but this is an earlier one than you usually see. And if you look at it carefully, you can see that the motor assembly is the same. The circuit board it sits on back in here is essentially the same. The terminal strip is similar. It does not have two notes for the rear door as the L50 does. It's down to a single note. So you have 8 notes for the front door, 1 note for the side door, and a different single note for the rear door. Also, an L70 is what they refer to as an electronic chime, which is kind of silly in today's world because it does have connections so you can tie it into an intercom system, because that was really the reason they made it. But if you look, you'll see it has the same 3 tone bars. The resonators sit behind the tone bars, and now they're made out of plastic instead of metal. And also, it's a somewhat smaller unit. If you stack them up carefully like this, you can see it's dimensionally a little smaller. Plus, this was available in different configurations. An L70 like this is designed to be a surface mounted chime. It screws to the face of the drywall or the plaster, and the cover goes over it. But also they made these in recessed versions where there was a box that you would mount into the wall cavity first during construction, and then on the trim out, this unit fit and mounted into that box, and you could have a flush grill. It was a more versatile design, and probably overall was somewhat less expensive to make than the L50. But this would not have existed if it weren't for this in the first place. As I said in the beginning of the video, very rare L50 chime, only the second one I've ever actually seen. But oddly enough, I spoke with a fella yesterday. He's in Wisconsin, and he contacted me because he has an L50 like this also. So all of a sudden, L50s are like falling out of the sky. They're coming from all directions. It seems like they are reasonably rare, and it's in a house that his parents built in 1956, and he did send me a picture of it, and it is code dated as November 1956. He's going to send it to me to have me repair it. You never know when you're going to see something that's as rare and as important as this is. So that's it, an L50 from February of 1957. I hope you found this interesting, and perhaps for someone it will be helpful. If it is, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, because that helps us just a little bit. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell, and when you click on the bell, click on it to receive all notifications. And every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.